Welcome back to the Tool Crib. Today I need to make a correction on a measurement that I had given on the initial review of the Leatherman Bond. I'm not sure how I made this mistake, but it got pointed out to me, so I wanted to make sure that I get you the right information. The second thing is a feature that is present on the Leatherman Bond that was Max Level EDC actually brought to my attention, and I want you guys to know about it. And the last is a potential problem with the Leatherman Bond that was brought to me by another user, and I want to share that with you as well. So first of all, the mistake that I made. Initially, in my initial review of this, I had said that the inner measurement for the inner tools here, or for the inner frame, was 3/4 of an inch or 19 millimeters, when in actuality it is a little over 9/16 of an inch wide, or about 14.5 millimeters. So I'm not sure how I made that mistake. I usually don't miss stuff like that, but I want to make sure that you guys are aware of that, and then that is corrected, because this is actually a pretty thin profiled multi-tool. It's actually a very nice pocket carry multi-tool. Now, for the feature that Max Level EDC brought to my attention, you'll notice here on the frame it has a little square notch. Well, that notch, if we open it up, and let's just pull the knife. Actually, we'll just pull all these implements out here so that we can get a better look at it. You'll notice that they have a little break in there where they have punched the steel and then they bend that over. Well, what that is for is it engages with the knife blade and keeps the blade itself from bottoming out on the bottom of the frame there, thereby keeping the blade just up off the frame so it doesn't get damaged or chipped or whatever. So for those that are wondering what that little square notch in there is for, that is what it was designed for. Now, the last thing is a potential problem, and I've got the Leatherman Surge first generation here because this is a similar problem that this particular multi-tool had. So with the Leatherman Surge first generation, it had those really narrow profile, much like just a larger version of the Wave Charge series, where they were really rounded off plier heads, and they're very thin needle nose. They're actually very nice to use in a lot of different applications. But one potential problem, or one problem that came with these, is that if you were closing this up and basically, you had the handles and you were trying to close it like this, what would happen is you'll see how the needle nose portion on this side will actually can potentially get jammed in between the two outer tools, and it would force its way in there. Sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't. This time it closed okay. Other times it would jam in there and it would jam the pliers in between the tooling. This is the same issue that is present on the Leatherman Bond in one certain application. So if you are using, let me get it pulled out here. If you are using the larger or the smaller flat driver, and you close the multi-tool up in that fashion, and you can just see there, I just pushed it down, and you see how this larger driver actually scooted over, and when I push in there, it has the potential to jam inside of there to the point that, in fact, I've done it once to test it out, and I actually scuffed the edge of the pliers. So this is a potential issue to be aware of. So if you're using this driver, you want to make sure that you fold the pliers up against the other frame before closing it, so that you can avoid that, because that plier head can get jammed in between those tools when using this particular driver. Now, it's another issue I want to make you aware of. So there's two potential faults with this. The first is that one, and the second one is the knife blade. I just don't like how that knife blade, when you're in this position, when you're in the plier position, how you can pull that out. A couple of people have talked to me about potential fixes for this. Some are suggesting that maybe they can bend down the catch mechanism here just slightly. I don't know that that's going to work, because it's still going to bypass or get past the knife. It might work, it might not, and I haven't tried it on mine. The second was, which I think maybe Leatherman should have done, was instead of having this drop point blade, maybe they should have installed a sheep's foot straight blade there. it would have that way the sheep's foot would have been up above the frame, and there would have been no chance that you could cut yourself. So whether or not Leatherman addresses that here in the near future, I certainly hope so, because this can be a potential problem. And it's really the only two faults that I found so far with the Leatherman Bond. Other than that, I like this tool considerably, considering that for the market that it's made for. Again, as I mentioned in my first video, this is really not made for Americans. We have a lot of other options and a lot of other choices that are above and beyond the capabilities of the Leatherman Bond. But if you want something that's a lighter carry, again, this is like the 21st century version of the PST. This is actually a pretty nice option for those who like to carry much lighter than others. For the European market, in particular the UK market, I think this is going to be a very, very good option though. So I wanted to highlight my mistake, that feature, and the potential problem. My name is Ben. You've been watching the Texas Tool Crib. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one.